game. And looks like the runners are kicking things off. They will both start at Ceres Station, both doing kind of the same beginning that we're always familiar with, except for in randomizers where this doesn't always happen. But we're going to see them go through Ceres, lose a fight to Ridley, who will abscond with the baby, and they're going to be doing basically the same things up until they get to that divergence point in Red Tower. And then we're going to see Osse go up and crossproduct go down, but Derp has joined me, so how are you doing tonight, Derp?
Pretty good. Hopefully better now that my internet isn't, to put it in family-friendly terms, not working.
Not working doesn't sound very family-friendly. I don't know how you're going to feed a family by not working. It seems expensive. But I'm glad that you're back and that the internet's cooperating.
Indeed.
So, meanwhile, we have this great race getting kicked off between Osse and crossproduct. And they're both through losing to Ridley and not yet done losing to the magnet stairs. But no, they both got through pretty clean, honestly. And both pursuing very similar strats there in the tile room. And Osse getting a nice serious time here, 45-46, and Cross with a 44-73, not much behind him. Really nice series from both runners.
Yeah, I don't really have too much to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, so who's winning?
Well, we are, of course, for getting to watch this race.
That's the answer I was looking for. But no, this is, standard Super Metroid beginning. We can talk about all the little optimizations or whatever, or we can just kind of, meme about crap. But really, the runners are going to be making their way down, getting their morph ball, getting some missiles, going up, getting bombs, and basically just collecting an assortment of diverse items that are going to enable them to move through the game efficiently. And Osse is going to be going up and playing the nominally slightly harder route. It requires a little bit more tech, a little bit more precise movement, but also is a much riskier route in New Route. But to kind of talk a little about the runners, Osse, I believe, was the 14 seed into the top 8 with an X and 2 record. His two losses were basically early on due to dying as a consequence of his route. He's since gotten much more confident and comfortable with the route, but I mean, new route is very, very dangerous, as is old route for that matter. Any run can die at pretty much any time. But
So, I might be mistaken on this, but doesn't Osse have a 46, I believe?
I think he has a 46.50, so he is one of the runners that cut the sub 50, and he cut it by a massive margin during this tournament.
Yeah, I think that makes him the best runner in terms of PB currently in the tournament. Of course, it's a very big improvement from where he started, but that's
he's taken
very impressive.
Yeah, almost 10 minutes off of his PB, which is not the most improved runner, but he is the runner that has improved to the lowest PB time. We had some runners take over an hour off of their PBs this tournament, which has been really cool to watch, honestly. Watching everyone improve over the course of this was really great, and now we're in the single elimination win or go home playoffs, although they're probably playing from home. But win or stop participating playoffs. And both these runners are going to want to keep playing. They're going to want to get to beat up on me in a handful of days. But nice climb from Osse.
Yeah, I have not followed the tournament super closely, but yeah, you, my fellow caster Maniacal, have made it pretty far in the tournament yourself. But that's not what's important right now. What's important is who's going to beat you next round. And that's
one of these fine fellas.
Getting to a slight lead at the beginning here. Hitting bombs at about 448.9.
Yeah, sub 450 bombs is nice. Osse saying in chat that that's a bombs PB for him. Not too surprised. He's had a very nice pace, very reasonable series, and just kind of overall pretty clean rooms. Had a nice construction zone on his way out and a good climb. Unfortunately, Bomb Terizo here being a little bit of a jerk, but it's all in the scripted RNG to help cross product catch up a little with this sweet Bomb Terizo we're about to see on the right screen.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say cross product did not have a PB bombs time. It did not go quite as well as Osse did, and also the fight. He did not quite get the missile drops he wanted from the eggs there. Kind of got trolled, but he still makes good work with what he gets. And that's not too bad of a.
Yeah, and managed to grab 2 missiles on the way out, so he'll probably be able to get the last one here from the waivers that we see on Osse's screen right now in Terminator, and should be in good shape into Green Brinstar. He will need some missiles to open that door to the Brinstar Reserve and early Supers area.
Osse was actually a missile short as well. He used his missiles to kill the waivers and didn't get all his missiles back, it seemed. So he had to take an extra farm from the pirates there. But you can see he missiles down the pirates because he wants to conserve health in the early parts of the game. That is something you do in New Route, because instead of going to Kraid, you go up to Wreck Ship with significantly less than the game intends you to have. So it's a very dangerous part of the game, and you do not want to have low health. Or you don't want to have lower health than you can help. And that includes taking damage from those pirates like Cross Product did.
Yeah, that's actually probably the first real strat divergence between Old Route and New Route is with those space pirates right there. Up until then, it's, unless you know a priori, difficult to tell which route a runner is going to pursue. But we did see Osse missile all those pirates and then set himself up to get full-on missiles from shooting the Zeelas there in the Green Brinstar shaft that Cross Product will want me to call the Pleasure Center because it is Brinstar's analog to the Norfair Business Center. So shoutouts to Cross Product and his room names. Nice big pink down back there from Osse. He's headed over to get his charge beam, also charge missiles.
Yeah, and then Osse we'll see him go. Osse is so far showing off how he improved so drastically. He is having a really solid early game so far.
Yeah, I mean, that was a 745-ish charge beam. That's a very nice charge time. And Cross Product, similarly, looking at like an 810 range charge time. 81x. That's going to also be a pretty solid charge time.
Oh, absolutely. We'll see. There are a couple spots where you can compare the times of Old Route versus New Route. I remember a couple of them. I'll point them out when I see them. But once we get to that, until then, we see, the big divergence. Osse going up Red Tower. We're going to see Cross Product, of course, go down. And then the routes are going to be pretty much completely different from there.
Yeah, both runners had a very, very nice green hill zone. Wanted to shout them both out for doing a good job in that room. But yeah, Osse is going to take some extra damage here, boosting off these Boyons, and is set up. So right now he's got just under 160 health, which is exactly enough that if Phantoon or the Flames hit you 4 times, you die. And so that's why New Route is so dangerous, or one of the things, is your health really, really matters in this part of the run. Basically everything up through bowling can kill you very, very easily. And so the wrecked ship segment that we see coming up from Osse is what keeps many runners away from transitioning to running this route. Or what makes it a bad idea for many runners, because they'll end up doing it more slowly than they would have done the route that we see Cross Product taking, which is to go down to Kraid as he is headed into his first boss.
Yeah, we kind of glossed over it, and I know we've been talking about how good Osse's doing right now, but I kind of want to shout out sub 9 power bombs. That's really good. Also, he went for the CWJ there, but he overshot it by a lot. Didn't really use the standard setup where you bonk the door. Instead, just ran from the ledge. So, kind of unusual, but he gets a nice first try HBJ across the moat. So,
Yeah, the strat he used for entry into the moat room looked a lot more like the Black Elite John special, where like he just didn't even go for the CWJ, which is unusual. I would have expected Osse to go for it, so I think maybe he just didn't get to the door fast enough and had to back it up with the HBJ or the horizontal bomb jump, which thankfully worked out really nicely. I think that's a very, very hard trick, and getting it first try like that, super smooth.
yep. Meanwhile, cross product getting his Varia suit. We saw a nice, I think that was a quick kill.
Mm-hmm.
And so he is going to be going down into Norfair for his first visit. Of course, that is one of the advantages of New Route. You only visit Norfair once instead of twice. One of the main reasons why it's faster.
And Cross right now with the early lead, one boss down against Osse's 0 bosses. Because that's how it works, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
It's all
This
about quantity
this
of
was
bosses.
randomizer. Cross product would be killing it.
Oh god, speaking of killing, Osse needs to be careful with Fantoon. That was a pretty vicious round 1. But nice snipe there on the fast pattern in round 2, and he's getting a bunch of health here.
Yep, unfortunately did not get any missiles, so he's gonna have to take this next round really slow, or hope he gets good drops. Well, he got a slow.
Really slow is how Fantoon's taking it too. Man,
No.
Fantoon can be a jerk sometimes.
I'm surprised Fantoon took that missile and didn't disappear. That was really strange.
Yeah. Yeah, that last one in round 3 was very weird. And oh, Cross unfortunately missing the Sova there and not being able to open the door.
Oh, that was the 4th missile on Fantoon. That makes sense. Well, so maybe not the cleanest Fantoon fight, but Osse is alive. And that is generally what you hope to see in New Route.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mess of a Fantoon fight, but he got out of it with really good health, and that's probably more important than having a fast Fantoon, honestly.
He's got
just
really good
with...
ammo as well. He's got full
exactly.
ammo.
Good health, good ammo, and that's going to enable him to pursue the strats he wants to pursue through the Resurrect ship.
Also, shoutouts to my cat. I don't know if that picked up in the mic.
I didn't hear it, but shoutouts to your cat anyway.
Thanks. Maybe I'll see if I can get him to say something in the mic so I can exploit him for internet credit. You know how it is. But anyways,
we're getting confirmation from chat. The cat was audible.
Alright, that's what I like to hear. So one thing I want to point out is Cross Product actually did not pick up the crate E-Tank. So he's either going for 3 E-Tanks or picking up a different safety tank, say at Ridley or something, which is a bit unusual. So he's probably thinking he has to pull out all the stops here against someone like Osse, so he might be taking it less safe than he normally would. Not really sure if he normally picks up the crate tank.
Oh, and Osse was looking for a health there just to get that 3rd hit here, but he's got to get a 2-hit here on bowling. So Osse says in the chat, exciting bowling. Oh, it was exciting. There it was.
That was certainly exciting.
So yeah, if Osse had jumped a frame or 2 earlier, the run would have ended right there. That's the dangers of New Route. He barely missed the hitbox on those floor spikes, which is why we saw him stopping and farming the waivers there in the room full of puddles.
Unfortunately, I don't think we are quite hype enough for the occasion, but, you know, what can you do, I guess?
Osse almost with the gravity skip as well. Man.
I have not actually seen that in New Route, but either way, he redirected himself real quick and picked up his gravity suit.
Yeah, pretty easy to be a little shook after a bowling like that. That was one that makes you skip a beat there. So definitely can see making some minor execution errors following, but cross product struggling with double chamber a little bit. Some folks' opinion of a worst room in the game. And
Not to be confused with the room that we call the worst room in the game, which in most routes is not actually the worst room in the game. But I digress.
Yeah, we'll be getting back to
soon.
that one soon. Yeah, Osse's going to be headed right that way.
If he'd taken a third hit, he'd be at -6 energy. Well, I guess that's true. It's a good thing I can rely on Twitch chat to give us the high quality information.
Yeah, I feel like we're keeping it cozy and running this commentary with -6 energy, and I think that's admirable. I think we should keep that up.
Yeah, I think us two combined have a total of -6 energy in this commentary.
It's pretty awesome. I'm having a good time with it. But there, Osse is grabbing the much maligned Spazer Beam. And so that is one of the big things that New Route gets. One of the only things that New Route gets that Old Route does not get, in fact.
So I was going to comment on cross product going for Alpha Spark without the safety E-Tank. Generally, you don't want to do that because you just don't have enough health coming into Phantoon. But then he did not quite get it anyways, so I guess he still has plenty of health.
Yeah, Alpha Spark usually is reserved for 3 tank, but I think Cross is probably more practiced at running 3 tanks up here and maybe doing like a 4 tank route. So it might be that he cut that out to save the time and is just kind of, relying on some good RNG to, to try and make up some of that time, because Cross does have the slower PB of the 2 runners in this match. So in a sense, if he wants to, play all out, it is on him to kind of show up and shave some time.
He could also take the Spark over the Ocean a lot safer. Also, Osse is actually not quite going the standard New Route, instead going with the PKRD, going Kraid before Ridley. Some people like to refer to it as the Captain Picard route because of the boss order. And a nice quick kill. So all the things I was saying before, like where Old Route and New Route generally sync up, you can throw that all out the window because I don't know anymore.
Yeah, this is a little bit of an extra atypical diversion for Osse here to go to Kraid before Ridley, but it does give him extra safety for lower Norfair.
The other thing I want to note is Cross Product actually took a couple hits from the Caterpillars coming out of the Alpha PBs, so his health is looking not good right now.
Yeah, we'll see if he still goes for the Spark here. It looks like he's setting up for it. He is going to break the Spark up.
He's set up to pick up. He's set up to pick up the Moat Missile. That's for sure. Maybe not exactly what he was planning on doing, but he has an extra missile to work with, so that's nice.
Yeah, and I like this call from Osse, honestly. He's got some time to give, and for the concern of just getting through the run without dying, this is a very, very safe option for him to go grab an extra E-Tank here at Kraid to get the Varia suit before going down to fight Ridley and do all of lower Norfair.
Yeah, speaking of choices I liked Cross Products just in there actually to just jump across the ocean. He had really low health because of taking a lot of damage as well as not having a lot of health to begin with, so he just didn't want to waste health on the Spark. So he's actually entering Phantoon with a pretty comfortable total health.
Yeah, that
Whereas
was
had he
a
gone for the spark, he would have been in pretty critical situation.
really good call by crossproduct, getting that right fast. Unfortunately, the eye closed on him. That's a tough pattern to be ready for. But yeah, managing his health well into the fight so that hopefully he's able to make it through safely and not have bad health coming out of this. He is going to need to be careful here and hopefully get some health drops.
He is not looking great. He's actually going to get health bombed from Fantoon until he gets over 50 health, which you saw. I don't know if he did that on purpose, but he actually waited until he got a few health drops on screen before he picked up the health.
Yeah, that was a good play by him, giving himself a little bit extra health to work with. And getting a nice double X Factor kill on Fantoon. So even with the slow rounds and the health mishaps, he may have ended up having about the same speed Fantoon as Osse had, all things said and done.
Right. His health is still looking pretty bad, though. He didn't get a lot of health from Fantoon. He got a lot of ammo, but not a lot of health, so I don't know how he's going to end up taking the attic.
Yeah, with his ammo being so good, I'd want to see him maybe stop and farm some of the atomics, especially the one that's on his way before the ceiling clip up here, just for the odds of the big health drop. Looks like he is setting up to farm one of the atomics, so...
We see Osse almost getting the perfect upper rising tide. That's a super fun strat to watch. Even though it saves like single-digit frames over just rolling under the room. And yeah, it does not look like cross-product set up for the spark. I say that, but... Alright, yeah.
So another notable thing about cross-product is we see he was kind of stuttering around and getting ready to charge that spark there is that his dash button is on his L trigger on his controller, which is unusual, but it means that he doesn't normally have access to one of the angle buttons. We saw him using angle down there, and I think we've seen him angle up though, so I don't know.
I think he was just I think he was just holding down and forward on the D-pad there to angle down. Because if you actually see Behemoth, he isn't really running at the moment since he just got a pretty big any percent PB. But during the ledge grab climb, he would actually use the D-pad entirely and just like use the D-pad to angle down on each of the platforms, which is kind of crazy to think about. But Behemoth is significantly better than us mortal men.
Yeah, Behemoth unfortunately was not eligible to participate in the Super Metroid Prodigy Tournament because his PB was below 50 minutes when the Prodigy Tournament started. A lot of runners found themselves in that position. You included in that, Derp.
I was included in that.
Yeah, so shout outs to being better than the Prodigy Tournament. Although this tournament's been awesome. So I've had a lot of fun with it, and I think most of the players who participated have really enjoyed it. I think it's been a very cool thing. Definitely been a nice venue for showcasing a lot of up and coming runners like Osse, who just didn't have a lot of reps on any percent, and so had a lot of learning to do, but is very clearly a very skilled runner. And also runners like me who had played a lot of Super Metroid, but just weren't so good at any percent, and just wanted to spend some time working on it.
Yeah, Osse's PB is better than mine now, so I guess he really is a prodigy in every sense of the word.
Yeah, he was going for Lava Spark there. Did get the echoes, but didn't get the charge, or the spark charged, and so ended up going for a gravity jump backup. That's one of those spots where having Variasuit really makes a big difference. His health is in a much better state now, because of having Varia suit there rather than just power suit when he menued off gravity suit.
Yeah, I mean, his health is already better than it normally would since he picked up the Cray tank doing PKRD. So he should have a fairly safe lower Norfair, but there's still a lot of things that can go wrong if you're not careful.
And here's a fast pillars attempt. Gets the charge, not quite top shelf, but nice fast pillars spark there for Osse.
Hold on, I need to refresh my stream.
It's all good. He's going for a bit of a slower worst room, just being really conservative. Not so sure about this, but it's working out.
Yeah, not quite the optimal worst room in the game strat, but not a bad strat. So
But yeah,
they got Osse up the room, so I think he'll be happy with how it went.
yeah. Anytime you get through worst room in like a reasonable amount of time without taking a bunch of damage, you kind of just have to live with it. And he's gonna spark and kill some of these red key hunters with speed echoes to reduce lag from the power bomb he's about to lay. And cross product is headed into Botwoon. We'll see what sort of Botwoon fight he goes for. Looks like he's ready for an X Factor, but there's a few different strats he could go for.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people go for the fancy new X Factor, if you will.
Yeah,
But,
he's going for a classic.
The more traditional X Factor, just X Factoring right at the entrance
But
of Botwoon.
that was impressive. He got the X Factor particle that he missed to wrap back around and smack Botwoon right in the hitbox. And as anyone who's played this game knows, it's really hard to tell where Botwoon's hitbox is at any given point, so...
Unfortunately, he did not hit all of his super missiles, so now we're seeing a bit of a unfortunate ending to the fight. But once again, we've all been there, trying to hit Botwoon's fantastic hitbox with whatever we have that isn't a super missile. Osse's ammo is not exactly ideal. Each super missile you enter the room with actually loses you about 2 seconds.
Yeah, because his charge shot is only 300 damage and takes 60 frames to charge, whereas those supers are good for 600 a pop, and you can fire them off much, much faster. I think you can fire them off with, what, 20 frames between?
Shoutouts to Cross Product there, getting the full halfie.
Yeah, that was
we were talking about
excellent.
Ridley.
Yeah, very nice full halfie there from Cross Product. That's a rather tight strat.
Once again, his health is not fantastic because he only went 3 tank and did full halfie, so there's that to keep in mind.
Yeah, Cross is setting up for a Dragon opener that'll utilize a Shine Spark and an X Factor, and looks like he's set up to do it. And misses the particles, but the particles are kind of a free roll. Got a pretty good spark, so nice start to the fight. And unfortunately some swoops as Osse gets pogos. And yeah, this is one of those spots where Osse's going to be happy to have that extra E-Tank that he grabbed over in Kraid's lair. And Cross through his boss fight. Just Ridley left and Osse through his. He has just Dragon left, and Dragon is a little more on the way to the end of the game than Ridley. So at this point, I would say Osse is definitely with the lead, but taking a few seconds here deciding about whether to get that Ridley tank, deciding to go for it.
Yeah, I like this decision, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it ensures that he's going to have a pretty cozy escape from Lower Norfair. And so definitely wouldn't want to risk the run to something like that where you can see. So the runners are allowed to watch the restream if you haven't been able to gather by the fact that Osse's in chat, kind of hanging out, typing when he gets a chance. But they're able to see where their opponents are, and so knowing that he's basically up a boss fight and has the better route to the end of the game, it's a good call to take a little bit of an extra safety there.
Well, he isn't really up a boss fight. He's just even in boss fights, and his last boss will take less time than it will take cross product. But yeah,
yes,
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I gotta be super annoying about that, obviously.
Yeah,
super
I mean,
specific.
Obviously, the pedantry level is super, super high, and I appreciate it.
That's the word I was looking for. Pedantic. Gotta be pedantic about it.
The pedantics are usually left for the Zelda side of this game, but we're only seeing the Super Metroid part today.
Yeah, I was wondering when we were gonna see the rest of the game. We got a whole nother game to get through, and neither of our runners have even touched.
We'll see what happens. Maybe they'll get into the credits post Mother Brain. But I see Antinomy, one of our tournament organizers and the general new player in Super Metroid cheerleader in the community. Sephi's awesome like that. Replying to a comment in chat about thinking about getting into running Super Metroid, and if anyone's thinking about it out there, this game is super fun, and the community is awesome and supportive, and is basically everything I wanted in a speedrunning community.
Yeah,
and so
the community. There's a lot of cool people, and also me in here, so, if you want to be a part of it, then we're always welcoming new people. We have a lot of helpful resources if you want to get into the game, so even though you might have missed the Prodigy Tournament itself, there's still a lot to do within the community.
Yeah, I mean, there's no bad time to start running this game. So if you're thinking about it, pick it up. I'm sure there'll be another Prodigy Tournament at some point, and I look forward to seeing all the new blood in there and commentating in that one, even if I'm not allowed to participate. I'm hoping they lower the threshold to 47 or something for that one. It's less of a round number, but then I'd get to play again.
Yeah. So one thing I do want to point out, focusing back on the run at hand, is that Osse actually farmed the bugs at the bottom of, I don't actually know what the room's called, but it's the room before Frog Speedway. Actually farmed the bugs at the bottom of that room.
Yeah, there's a little pool down there in the lava of 5 gamuts that'll pop up, and they have pretty reasonable drop odds on health. Their super drops are pretty bad, but this just gets Osse in really good shape heading into Torian.
Well, the reason I wanted to bring it up is because normally in New Route, you wouldn't have to do that because you would get a super missile refill at Kraid, but you'll notice Osse's already done Kraid, so he doesn't get that luxury and just had to farm up manually. Or mini Kraid, more specifically, is where you get the super missile refill from. But you know what I meant.
Yeah, going in there usually replenishes your super ammo, which is usually pretty low post Ridley fight, and so it was good of him to install that farm there. And Cross gets his ice beam. He's going to be headed down. Now he's got the complete beam set, and so his beam is better than Osse's beam. It deals 3 times as much damage when charged up, 900 to the 300, but he does have the longer route.
And so we actually saw the newer X Factor strat there from Osse, where he set up on the other side of the room and the X Factor particles bounced over to Botwoon. It's a really cool setup, and apparently it's not as hard as it looks because I see a lot of people doing it now.
Yeah, it's a super, super free setup, so big props to Decalled, who came up with that one. It's a variant on the Cutie Crown Ridley strat that does something very similar to open the Ridley fight from a real cutie, and just modifies it to work on Botwoon, and it's a great strat.
Yeah, I have seen the Ridley strat before. It's a pretty neato X Factor. speaking of which, we should see at least one more Nito X Factor in the run here, as Osse is about to fight his Dragon.
Yeah, and Osse with the very rare 5 tank new route run going on. I kind of dig it though. Like I think the decision was very sound, very well considered, and he's executing on a good game plan right now.
Yeah, I think that's one luxury you can have in a race like this, where you have a better time than the person you're racing against. You can afford to go for a few more safeties than maybe you normally would think you could get away with. So Osse is taking full advantage of that. Doesn't quite get the 2 in blue, but Dragon should be dead with this last spark.
And nice worst room in the game here from crossproduct, getting the pirate frozen and getting the ceiling blown open, and then going through. Oh, getting tagged on that ball over the head, and his health's a little low, but did make it up through the room pretty quickly.
Osse still going for a spike suit. Alright, he gave up. Took a few seconds after the boss despawned, or the drop spawned, I should say, to try to get that spike suit, since he didn't get blue from the Dragon Spark, but he's just gonna end up going the slow way back across Coliseum.
Yeah,
Get
which
some really
honestly,
nice deboost.
Yeah, it's not all that slow to do even, but the spike suit is nice, but it's, a silly double frame perfect trick, or I guess it's double frame perfect because there's 2 different ways to do it, but either way, difficult trick and hard to be consistent at, so very reasonable to give up on it.
Crossproduct has 8 health.
Oh, Jesus.
And he's not exactly in a fantastic position at the moment.
These Disgigas are very angry at him, and they're taking bomb damage, but this Monka S is right. Oh, this is a good spot as long as they can't wiggle any further over. Okay. So we'll see how this goes.
Okay.
That was a heads up play there by crossproduct to manage that, and he is going to have to get PBs of shame.
I think he'll take that over starting over.
I did not see what happened in Red Key Hunter Shaft, but it had to go sideways.
I looked back, and crossproduct was running away from the Disgigas. He was trying to get back into the hole, so something went terribly wrong.
Yeah, but good on him to know that bombs can damage the Disgigas, and these the Metal Pirates should take care of him here and give him some health drops as long as he's able to manage them. Yeah, there he's going to get his health drops, and he's back on track.
He was, of course, in health bomb range because of being under 50 health, or being under 30 and not going back over 50. And actually, that was a really smart play though from Cross. Actually going back and bombing the Disgigas. I don't think a lot of people would have tried that, but crossproduct, he knows a lot about the game, and he knew what to do in that situation, even though it wasn't maybe ideal.
Yeah, crossproduct has really, really good awareness of the game and just really good general knowledge. Does a lot of randomizers, and actually on Wednesday night is hosting a puzzle race for Super Metroid for a puzzle that he made, and so just very actively involved in the community, and has a ton of game knowledge to do things like design puzzles for other people to play.
This is actually fairly good pace from Osse, all things considered.
Yeah, he's on what he says is 48.05 pace. I would have been less specific about it.
I would say it's a lot lower. That would assume a 9-minute Turian, which would assume like no baby skip and not a good fight. So I would say it's closer to a high 47.
Yeah, which, given the safety tanks and the safety and the routing, very nice time from Osse. which is why either runner that wins here today, which right now is looking to be Osse because he's already in Torian, is going to just completely thrash me next week. But I've punched above my weight class so far this tournament, so I'll be happy with it.
Alright, well, Osse there doing a good job not getting Rawsued and dying to the Metroids.
Yes.
Sorry, that was mean. Sorry, I can make that joke because I've done equally dumb things in Turian in a live streamed.
Oh yeah, I
we
mean
won't
that
talk
stuff has
about
happened
that.
to everyone.
Chat suggesting 4805 because he's saving the animals. I'd like to see it.
And Cross is getting his revenge on these Tuskigas. Much better health time through, and setting up and nailing the Wasteland Speedball courtesy of a high jump there from that third Tuskiga.
Osse not having the greatest baby skip, but it looks like he got it.
Yeah, any baby skip that makes it through with a reasonable number of jumps is better than failing at that point, so...
Well, you can do a lot of jumps and still be technically better than failing it.
Exactly. Especially with 5 tanks.
So, Osse here in the final stretch. He's made it to Mother Brain. He's got an extra missile pack, so he should be okay. Even if he gets a couple shots sniped by the turret. And the turrets aren't even looking at him. He's perfectly fine.
Yeah, Cross getting a little hung up with 3 Musketeers, but making it through, out with 277 HP. And with that extra power bomb pack, he's also got plenty of power bombs to use as he gets through the rest of the game. He's going to use one more to get through Bubble Mountain. But, yeah, I mean, he's in good shape headed into Torian. His ammo and health are looking pretty good. And we'll see here, Osse has a little bit slower of a Mother Brain 2 than what Cross is going to have as a function of the difference in beam. He'll have a 60-shot Mother Brain, whereas Cross Product will have a 20-shot Mother Brain. Which also means that the fight, because it drags on a little longer, is necessarily a little bit more dangerous. But he's handling it very well so far. And there's that first catch-up from Mother Brain on Osse's screen, so people tend to fear the catch-up phase, but most runners I know, and I have a feeling you'll tell me whether you agree or disagree, Derp, find the catch-up phase to be the safer part of the fight after that first catch-up, just because it's so predictable.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like after that, it's just, I mean, obviously you can mess up, but for the most part, it's just a free ride from there once you know what you're doing.
Yeah, although in low ice, it's still, like, because it drags on for so long, I still find ways to, like, mess it up. But here it only drags on for 15 shots, so it's not so bad.
Indeed. Of course, in low ice, it's still arguable that it's less dangerous than the part before it, where you have to get 1.5 billion shots in, dodging all of the attacks, instead of just dodging the catch-ups.
Yeah, I definitely lose more runs early, but it's just, in that category, even once I'm at catch-up, I'm still not like, okay, we're through. But Osse is through. and is going to get his health refilled and get a hyper beam from the baby Metroid, and for all intents and purposes, he's going to be successfully finishing the run. There's not a lot that'll go wrong from this point in the run when you're not doing stand-up.
And yeah, this is looking like a mid to high 47 pace.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the escape goes and how Mother Brain 3 goes, but that's pretty much all that's left. And Osse's on a very good time. Let me take a look at the Prodigy Tournament.
Actually, it might be a lower 47 than that. Might be just a low 47.
Yeah, so right now, Osse has run the fastest time in the tournament with a 48:48, and he's definitely on pace to beat that.
He's on pace to smash that right now.
So right now he has the first and third fastest times. The third being a 50:13, with the second belonged to French Lightning John with that lovely 49:24 that he dropped on me in the 1-1 bracket for God knows what reason. All our new route runners wrecking that leaderboard, but Osse is on pace for this top slot, coming for that number 1 spot. It's Osse.
He is. Yeah, this might be a full minute below what he predicted at a 48:05. But regardless, he could save the animals 10 times over and still beat his first place time right now.
Yeah, I don't know what his splits that he's running against did in Torian that he had himself at a 48:05, but
he probably just wanted to make a really. He just wanted to make a really conservative guess, like in case he missed baby skip really badly, and didn't get great drops in Torian. You know, you set the bar low, right? So you don't get disappointed if you meet the bar. And
sure,
if you.
I'm just worried that if Osse was running against his 46:50 and has a minute to save in Torian, that's pretty insane. But
somehow I doubt it. But either way, that's what, a minute and 40 seconds better than his first place time.
Yeah, so Osse smashing the first place time in the tournament as a prelude to smashing me in the near future in this tournament. Finishing with a 47:08, or an official SRL time of 47:13 is how it's going to go in the books. But GG to Osse. He'll be moving on to the top 4 in the Super Metroid Any Percent Prodigy Tournament.
So apparently Osse did lose a minute. I don't know if he was running against his PB splits, but the splits he was running against had missed baby skip and a save.
Yeah, the way he's describing that, I imagine he's probably running against some other PKRD splits that he has. He probably has PKRD splits from another race or something, but yeah, if he comes into chat, we'll be able to ask him about it.
Yeah, we'll hear it straight from the man himself. If he wants to, of course.
Yeah, meanwhile, we have crossproduct making his way down into the bottom part of Torian here. Just the Mother Brain fight coming up ahead, but he's a little tighter on ammo.
Yeah, looks like he didn't get perfect super drops going into coming out of the Metroid rooms, I should say. Might have only had 9. So he's still okay. He can miss a couple missiles. He can't miss a super, though. And he's not going to.
Yep, gets through nicely. Had no supers to spare, but spared no supers, so makes it through just okay. And we'll be on to a 4-tank Mother Brain fight. Nope. It's a 3 or 2.5 tank Mother Brain fight now.
All right, 3.5. If it was 2.5, we would be in trouble.
Well, 2.5 over the base tank, I meant, in that he was plus 250.
Sure.
To
Okay.
be pedantic about it.
All right. And it looks like we do have Osse in for an interview. So GG
Yeah.
on the best time in the tournament by a mile currently.
GG.
GG, Osse.
It's also pretty close to PB.
Yeah, like that's a
20
pretty
seconds off.
sick run, 20 seconds off PB for a PKRD route with like a bonus E tank and Ridley tank, and that shows that there's still time to save.
Yeah. And the bad Pantoon fight was there. Dragon could have been faster this time. But the extra E-Tank probably did save me. My Norfair wasn't that great.
Yeah, I don't know if you were listening to the restream. I think you were, but we were saying that we liked a lot of the decisions you were making regarding the safeties you were taking and the choice to route PKRD and things like that. And I hear cross-product in the chat asking about your Norfair, his Norfair. I don't know if you caught it. There was some Diskegas shenanigans that I won't spoil too much, but
Yep, I saw it.
I looked away
there.
for a moment and I looked back, and things had completely gone off the rails. Yeah, cross-products with a nice Mother Brain fight is into Mother Brain 3, so he'll be finishing up shortly. We'll see what he decides to do to meme it up in the escape.
He's
I'm sure
already
he'll
done
have
some fancy memes already, doing some power bombs before the rainbow beam to slow down the beam.
Yeah, I imagine that bomb deboost was also part of the meme strat.
I don't think that was intentional, but maybe I'm not giving him enough.
I like to think that was both intentional and just for swag value, and I loved it. I loved every bit of it. Getting a perfect 259.45 into the first room before getting jigated. Sucks to ruin a good pace like that. But so Osse, you're gonna be moving on, and you're gonna get to destroy me next round. How are you feeling about that?
That's if I can get through bowling again. That was pretty dicey.
Oh my god, that bowling, dude. Dicey is one way to put it. I saw you farming the waivers. I was like, he knows he wants the third hit to give. And then you're just like, nah, I'm going for it.
Yeah, normally it's not an issue. I go through with 2 hits to give.
Oh, for sure.
But today, I got caught in the water, and that just threw me off, I guess. And so I barely made it.
Shoutouts to the left side spark from cross product. Left side behemoth spark even made it all the way to the top.
And the moment of truth here. Oh, we're headed back into Brinstar. Oh nope. There's a gate in the way, or a door that is gray. Where can
I was hoping
cross-product
he
go?
was just going to get soft locked in those bomb blocks, but he did not go for it.
How do you soft lock there?
Blowing
Them up and then unmorphing or something?
So you can get stuck aiming down in those blocks, and you can't actually morph, so you're just basically stuck in a jump. I don't really know how it works. I just know it works.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know that I've ever seen that.
I think it was Firebat, Insane Firebat, that showed it to me, but I don't know how it works.
Yeah, cross-product's checking for any way off this planet. All the doors are gray, though.
Looks like he might be in trouble.
Yeah, there's a ship here at landing site that he could take.
Yeah, don't know how that got there, but it looks like he's gonna be safe after all.
Yeah, he has safely finished and done after the Nightmare of Disgigas, going for that ship refill, as is being pointed out. In second place with an official SRL time of 54 minutes and 39 seconds. So GG to Cross Product, and congrats to him on an awesome run in this tournament. Hopefully, he decides to come talk to us about skipping Crate E-Tank. His comment is, skipping Crate E-Tank seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah, I've seen Kip shine spark off the planet. It definitely
That's
happened
true.
for sure.
Yeah, I saw he couldn't quite make it to the ship, and he said, we're just going to be, rocket Samus here and blast off. But yeah, let me see if Cross wants to come in and chat. Looks like he does, so hopefully we'll have him in here soon. And yep, here is Cross Product.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, not too much, man.
That was a fun experiment. I think at most, skipping an E-Tank and Crazy might save me like 45 seconds, and that is if I don't lose 5 minutes to being low health, which I did lose 5 minutes due to being low health, so...
The math checks out.
I think yeah, somehow, I lost 5 minutes. I'm 2 plus 257 even after goofing off at the end. By the way, that hamburger deboost in MB3 was totally intended.
I think it looked pretty intentional. I loved it, by the way, if it wasn't obvious. I was like, Osse's interviewing? No, we're talking about this hamburger.
I kept the stream closed. I wanted to give myself a nice run. I wanted to have a solid run, so I didn't want any distractions. So I had the stream up but minimized. Then when I got to the part where I had to baby bomb the frogs with the Varia socks, I just whatever. There's no longer a chance of this being a good run. I'll bring the stream up and have some fun. And the funny thing was, I saw Osse was in pre-Batwoon. And I wasn't really paying attention. I guess he must have been going from after Dragon, or either that, or maybe he was going to Dragon, but I didn't realize he was doing new route. So I was like, "Wow, he hasn't gotten to Dragon yet. I'm way ahead." And then
man!
I looked up again and I saw you at the ship, and I'm like, "It's weird. Why would he go to this ship?" Right? Oh no, he's on his way to G4. Well. I guess I may as well grab this Ridley E-Tank, which, by the way, I had to prove that I didn't need it. I didn't need the 4th E-Tank on Mother Brain. I just had to...
Yeah, I saw you damage yourself down to 350 or 349.
Yeah, I didn't need the E-Tank.
That's a little aggressive. Yeah,
I needed to prove it.
That's fair. You did need the crazy.
I needed the E-Tank. I needed the E-Tank for the rest of the run, but I didn't need it for Mother Brain.
Entirely fair.
Hey, so can we talk about how Seffi's a mod in speed gaming? I just noticed that, and I'm scared for my life.
He's an organizer in this tournament, so I guess.
I guess. That still scares me, though. He's gonna ban me for sure.
You're done, derp. Shouldn't open your mouth. But no, GG Cross Product and Osse. That was a really nice race from both of you. Definitely really enjoyed commentating that. It was a lot of fun to watch and talk over. But Cross, I was not certain that bombs would damage those Tuskigas. Has that come up for you before?
Yeah, at least once. I'm gonna probably you know what? You know why I learned that is I had a really terrible low percent run one time. I didn't have any ammo or health. I didn't have any ammo or health to get through Wasteland, and I had saved at the save point with 50 health.
Oh gosh!
So that's when I figured out you can bomb them, but they have to jump low or get stuck in that little hole.
Yeah, at the end, both of them got stuck
Yeah,
down
that
there.
was
and
convenient.
it got really fast at that point.
Yeah.
It was like a speed strat there. Once both the Tuskigas wedged themselves in. But no, it was good to see you keep it alive. I looked away to see like the Ridley fight or something, or a Dragon fight, I guess is probably what it was at the time. And then looked back and you're at 8 health, and I thought, oh god, what happened?
Yeah. Listen, Wasteland. I got hit. What? What did I get hit by? I went in the lower Norfair with maybe like 200, and I got hit once in worst room in the game, which is actually pretty good. I managed to get past like the middle, like the top wall pirate. I got through him with the power bomb hitbox, but I got hit by the guy at the top, and I got hit by the guy at the top of Amphitheater as well. So that's 100 damage right there. Made it through 3 Stooges without getting hit. And then I got hit by a Tuskegee. I got hit by a Tuskegee and it was at 48 health. And I swore they also did 50 damage. And I was like, I'm dead, I'm dead, I'm dead, I'm dead. I got hit again and I'm at 8 health. And I'm like, I'm not dead. But I'm dead. I really felt like the metal pirate was going to do me in though.
Yeah, that second leg that he threw at you, I was getting worried when he jumped back over.
I don't even know how much damage they do. I think I was at like 30, like 26 or 30. I might have been able to tank one, but I just, in my mind, I'm like, this is it. This is an Oko. This is Oko until I kill this pirate.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what it was. It
those,
was Oko. I think they deal 30. I'm not certain.
Yeah, I thought the pirates dealt 40, but I'm not sure.
I don't know, maybe. My absolute least proud moment I think of this run though is like I had to take a risk. I skipped an energy tank and crate. I needed some kind of edge. I mean, not even that would have helped if I had executed cleanly. But man, coming out of Alpha Peeps and hitting 2 caterpillars, taking 80 damage, and then not being able to shine spark in the wreck ship was just the worst.
Yeah, good job being heads up about it and not like committing to the default strat and having awareness in your run and choosing to jump across though.
Yeah, and I knew I had to pick up the missile pack too, so I just did like a straight shine spark across moat from I call it the corkscrew room, right? It's got like the little thing at the top and it's like a little spiral underneath.
I gotcha.
I call it the corkscrew room. I don't know if that. I think that's one of the rooms that doesn't have an official good name yet. So
I'm just gonna call it the Crateria Crab Shaft.
Crateria Crab Shaft. It's probably called something like that. But then what about the Crab Maze and Forgotten Highway? That's in Crateria.
Yeah, but those aren't shafts.
That's all Forgotten Highway, and that's not a real room anyway.
It's not a
It's
room.
also not a shaft. You
about.
can't call it a shaft if it's not a shaft.
It's many shafts. It's like tunnels of shafts or something.
Well, yeah, you know what they call that? A maze.
Crab Labyrinth, I think would be more fun to say. Crab Labyrinth.
Crab Labyrinth it is. That's I think that is now canon.
I like it.
But yeah, GG Cross. Wonderful run this tournament. I think you were the 6th seed into the top 16 with a 5-1 record in Swiss, so just played absolutely great.
I lucked out in at least 2 of those.
Hey man, I lucked out in my last race too. You know, it happens. Like there's variance in this game. And
Well, I would say that one of them was I lucked out, and another one was I maybe just like my experience kind of kept me in the game and kept me calmer. The other opponent was like definitely a better runner than I am, but maybe they don't have the tournament experience that I do. So I think that came in clutch. But everybody that joined this tournament has been improving, which is the point, and it's really awesome to see. And a handful of people have gotten sub 50s in. I know one particular person that came extremely close to a sub 50 recently. If you follow Twitter at all or watch Melon X's stream, she had like a 50.
Oh yeah,
yeah, like a
50.09.
50 point. Oh yeah,
yeah,
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, congrats to you though for improving your PB by over a minute in the tournament. Looks like 52:39 was what you started with. You got down to a 51:18.
Yeah,
Which,
and that actually wasn't on my live split. I guess I didn't have my splits up during that race, so I have to actually go back and find that VOD and figure out what the splits are, or at least put in the correct final time.
fair, but yeah, I mean, Osse with a 47. That's just a 47:08's a hell of a time. So Osse is going to tear me a new one next week whenever we get to play or whenever we schedule.
Yeah, this was a 47, and I heard you guys talking about all of the time saves that he could have had.
Yeah, like this could have been like a 46-2x probably if it was just run straight up. But then again, I mean, maybe the run dies, you know? Who knows how things go without the Crady tank and things like that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's really hard to say something like that and then actually believe. But still a killer time, and I would need to get much, much better at Super Metroid in a hurry in order to be able to compete with it. So I have a feeling that my tournament stay is also not long for this world. We are on that half of the bracket that had a lot of scary players. Yeah, anything else you wanted to say, Cross? Or Osse for that?
Just you know, this tournament's over, but a new tournament is just started, so I'll still have a lot of fun playing this game.
Yeah, the dab tournament. You're doing that one?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. The last time there was a dab tournament, it was like just when I realized that tournaments was a thing that I could do, and it was like just too late for me to sign up for it when I realized it was happening.
Oh.
And then we didn't do one for 3 years.
Yeah, things have changed a lot in 3 years. I was not around as an active member of the community when the last dab tournament happened, so we'll see how long I last in this one. I'm probably gonna be like 0-2 and eliminated.
I think that when the last dab tournament happened, we didn't have Moondance yet. So
Nope.
that
was early 2017.
That's going to change some things, I think. Especially the get all three criteria, or get 3 Brinstar Super Missile packs, I think is going to be a much more sought after early tile.
Yeah, Moondance definitely opens up some things with routing that are very particular to the double anti-bingo format. So it will be really cool to see what people do with some of that new tech.
I also have a few extra tricks up my sleeve that people that watch my stream probably know about, and that I hope my opponents don't realize I can do.
Well, I'm just gonna leave
I
it
don't
there.
I
worry.
have a couple secret weapons
I've seen your secret weapons, don't you worry.
that can apply in dab.
See, I've not been a diligent person at dab prep, and so I fully expect to just get waxed in 2 rounds. My first round's against Becky, so that's probably not going to go well for me.
Hey, I had you advancing, so you better.
Yeah, I did too, actually. I mean,
I saw, and shout out thoughts. I had you advancing too. I'm going to try my
Maniacal, you're
damnedest.
reading our brackets. I think I have me losing to Feral. I'm making it to Feral and then losing to Feral, I think.
Hey, I also have me losing to Feral.
I have all right, my finals is Feral versus Ajder. Sorry.
Okay, that would be a good match to see. Yeah.
Don't give Cross a row with Don't Run.
Yeah, all the predictions either had me losing round 1 or like going through and losing to Sloters with the shout.
I think I have you losing to Predictor.
Yeah, everyone had me losing to Becky or Sloters, and there was no in between except one lone predictor. Shoutouts to P-Toil, who has me losing to Mr. Guy Average, which puts me solidly below average. So I'll take it. I did look through all of them just to kind of see how it was going, but yeah. That's going to be an exciting one. I'm looking forward to seeing those starting off here in the next day or so. I know I've got my match tomorrow night, so that might be the first. But yeah, if there's nothing else to say, GG Cross Product, congrats on an awesome run in the tournament. And GG also to Osse. I'm terrified to race you, but also looking forward to it whenever we decide to schedule. I don't know if you're still hanging out and want to say it.
That sounds like a no to me.
Sounds good. Well, thank you for joining me on commentary, Derp. Had a lot of fun with this one. If anyone has not yet followed Osse and Cross Product, they're both just absolute top tier dudes, great streamers, great runners. Go give them a follow. Show them all the love for the great race they just put on. And shouts to all of our organizers and Speed Gaming for hosting the tournament as well. And I'll let you sign us off, Derp.
Oh, see you later, I guess. That's all I had to say.